So, folks, we have to talk about ice. And not the fun slipping and sliding kind of ice, or the kind that cools down your beverages in the warmer seasons. No, we have to talk about ice, the masked men who roll into town and round up people who just look black and brown, or who don't speak don't speak Merkin. And yeah, they're still a thing. I know the news coverage has been toned down more so recently, but it's heating back up. Markwayne Mullin got put in charge of the agency and DHS, and he's been trying to do what was being done previously, but in a more clandestine manner. However, this has targeted the DC metro area with a surge of ICE enforcement that's devastating.
No ice, noise.
Jazz Dog, thank you for the $5 dono. And there was a story in the New York Times today. Immigrant arrests surged to 10,000 in 5 days as ICE clamps down. The agency has doubled its daily arrest numbers without the fanfare of last year's large urban operations, sowing fear in immigrant communities. So, yeah, I mean, it's still doing what it's doing. It still needs to be abolished. It still needs to be dissolved as an agency. Basically, what they're doing is what they did previously, but supercharging it, which is if undocumented immigrants have meetings with, their immigration handlers, ICE is there waiting to pick them up at their scheduled meetings, which of course is going to have the effect of people not going to said check-ins because they don't want to get arrested by masked vigilantes with guns empowered by the government. They don't want to be manhandled by members of the KKK in tactical gear, Agency leaders in recent days ordered top ICE officials to focus on more of their officers' efforts on picking up immigrants they want to deport, according to documents obtained by the New York Times and interviews with federal officials. ICE officers have arrested people at check-ins with immigration authorities during traffic stops and on the street. The push has apparently yielded results, with recent arrest numbers roughly doubling from the 1,000 picked up each day earlier this year. What is interesting to note about this in particular is that this sounds like bullshit, apparently. And I'm going to defer here to Aaron Reichlin Melnick, a name you all should probably become familiar with or recognize from me talking about it in the past. He's a senior fellow at the American Immigration Council, and he specifically fact-checked a press conference held by Markwayne Mullin earlier today. Let's play the clip of this first.
Seeing our arrest numbers come up. We're seeing our deportation numbers continue to increase. Right now, we're deporting on average over 3,000 individuals. Actually, the average has been for several weeks now, over 3,200 individuals a day. 70% of those individuals we're deporting have outstanding criminal charges on them, or they've already been charged with a felony. 70% of those individuals. 70% of the individuals that are men and women throughout DHS arrests, be it ICE, CBP, or one of our other components, 70% of those individuals have pending felony charges or are current felons that shouldn't be on our streets. So when we go after the worst of the worst, which is exactly what we're doing, we're saving lives.
So, just to be clear, the reporting from the New York Times directly contradicts this. They aren't going after the worst of the worst. They're going after people who are checking in with immigration authorities. We know from the people that they paraded out in front of America as like the worst of the worst, who needed to go to the El Salvador, concentration camps to be tortured. We know that most of them didn't have criminal records. The problem here is, you can't trust a single goddamn word out of their mouths. They lie as easily as they breathe. Markwayne Mullin here claims that DHS is deporting 3,200 people per day. That's not, in fact, the case. Aaron Reichlin Melnick says here, ICE data showed DHS averaging 1,259 deportations per day through April 4th. There is zero sign deportations rose by 154% since. Markwayne also mixes up DHS's also false claim that 70% arrested have any criminal record at all and claims that 70% are felons. Wildly wrong. Yeah, so, like, obviously it was all made up from the beginning, but just literally every claim he made was a lie. In a just world and in a just society, these would be offenses that would get you removed from whatever position you have within our government and possibly thrown in prison. Like, these are heinous things to lie to the American public about. And not only that, but we know that ICE targets the most vulnerable people. It's why they go after random people on the street who are just minding their own business. It's fucking nonsense. It's just constant fucking nonsense. And to top it all off, one of the things that Markwayne Mullin promised was this.
Operations in New York City. Can you clarify whether additional ICE personnel or resources have been deployed in New York and whether New York has been cooperative?
Well, we wouldn't give you our operational procedures if we were going to do it anyways, but either way, every day we're going after the worst of the worst. And
No,
because of some of the policies that we see coming out of New York, especially New York City, we are possibly having to flex a little bit more because we see a lot more criminal activity. People think that it's just the illegals that are here. The illegals, if you come around, it also has cartels that follow. We have serious gang violence that takes place. We've arrested some of the worst of the individuals that's coming out of New York City because they feel like it's a safe haven. And when they come in here, they also bring in tremendous amount of organized crime along the way. And then it spreads out to other cities.
I love, by the way, that they make this claim, and there's literally no data that supports any of these claims. He's just lying, right? He's just lying. We know that undocumented immigrants are less prone to committing crimes than native-born Americans. Like, this is a fucking bullshit thing he is saying. Oh, they're spreading crime. They're bringing gangs with them. He's just lying and being racist, exactly.
That may not participate in the same direction that Madami wants to take this city. So we're going after the head of the snake. And if that's in sanctuary cities, we'll go to sanctuary cities to get rid of the worst of the worst. Yes.
Yeah, he's going after the head of the snake, he says, while talking about Zoran Mamdani in New York City. I can tell you this much. If Markwayne Mullin thinks that he's going to have a better and more successful time doing a large-scale ICE occupation of New York City versus Minneapolis, Minnesota, oh god. It's way more population dense over there. You are gonna get wrecked in a matter of minutes. It's crazy. Now, I do see folks in vertical chat here. You guys are trying to abolish law enforcement. No one is talking about that. You're making up a straw man as you go. But I did want to talk about your comment here. Here's the thing. You come to America illegal, you will be labeled a criminal because they broke the laws of America. Now, just so you know, and so other people know as well, coming into the United States is a civil violation on the same level as a parking ticket. And, like, when you start saying stuff like, you come into the United States illegal, you'll be labeled a criminal because you broke the laws of the United States of America, it's like, in the scheme of actual law, what you're talking about and how you talk about it, it's like you're advocating that people who got parking tickets should have to go, like, to a very special court where if they are found guilty, they would then be stripped of all their worldly possessions and possibly have to go up against a firing squad. Like, it's ridiculous. It's clownish. It's buffoonery of the highest order. And honestly, it's a bad look. Like, it's just gutter racism that has been gussied up and then force-fed into your information ecosystems. But the reality is, when you park illegally or park too close to a fire hydrant, you are committing the same level of infraction as an undocumented immigrant. And what happens to you in that case? Well, what happens is you get a ticket, and then you go online, you pay the fine, and voila. But also, somewhere in the government system, it says, oh, the fine has been paid. And that gets documented. Weird how it's so easy for you to be documented within the system. But instead of just having the same approach to undocumented immigrants, instead, we have to imprison them on the taxpayer dime in privately run concentration camps where they're tortured, where they're separated from their families, where they then get disappeared into this system, where they then get subjected to an entirely different set of legal procedures that do not have to adhere to the same level of criminal law as everyone else. And then on top of it, you then have them being shipped around the country in trucks, in vans, in airplanes, and then flown to a different country. All of that costs money on the taxpayer dime, whereas we could just address this problem the same way we address parking tickets, which is they pay a fine and then they become documented in the system. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be expensive, and it certainly doesn't have to involve concentration camps and torture. But y'all add that shit to it because you're weird assholes who get off on the idea of torturing black and brown people. It's grotesque. And, I don't know. I think that that's a weird solution to a pretty straightforward problem. And, maybe we should be taking straightforward solutions to a straightforward problem. In this case, you document undocumented people, and there you have it. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. But, nah, y'all have to get weird about it. And speaking of course, this plan to surge ICE, all of that is happening as ICE is disappearing people. This is the Marshall Project. It's a nonprofit journalistic outlet that focuses on criminal justice. And essentially, they've been tracking different immigrants detained within these concentration camp systems across the United States. And essentially, what they've found is that ICE has now a system in place to periodically and seemingly randomly move immigrants from detention center to detention center in order to prevent their lawyers from being able to find them. Because they don't want these people to have due process. They don't want these people to have rights. And the easiest way to do that is just to disappear them within the bureaucracy. So by the time their lawyer can track down the facility they may be in, they're already in a different facility. It's, that's illegal? Yes, it is. And honestly, this should be, again, when we talk about dismantling and abolishing ICE, when we talk about the need to prosecute ICE officers, it is because of the rampant illegal behavior being conducted by the government against the people who live in this country. And that's pretty fucked up. That's pretty fucked up. I think that the people who are breaking our law, even if they are members of our own government, should be held accountable for breaking the law. I don't think that's very complicated either, but conservatives keep doing mental gymnastics to avoid holding federal agents who have killed people in the streets accountable for their crimes. What I find particularly heinous is that conservatives who are all about law and order, all about, you need the law. The law needs to be applied to these undocumented immigrants. don't seem too keen on applying the law to actual government officials or actual ICE agents who are breaking the law on camera on a regular basis. And it just kind of seems to me like instead, conservatives look at that and they say, I love it when federal agents break the law. I love it when fellow American citizens get killed by federal agents. And honestly, it's one of those things where I'm just gonna say it. Y'all don't love America. Y'all fucking hate America. You all fucking hate the idea of other people who are different than you having rights. I don't know. That's a particularly disgusting and backwards worldview. It's small. Because it's the kind of petty where you just think about it from like the bad team I don't like. They lost a point in football. That's how real it is to you. Whereas it's actual people's lives. Actual people are getting killed. Actual people are losing their livelihoods. Actual people are having their neighborhoods destroyed. And actual people are being tortured. Actual people are having their rights and dignity violated on a daily basis. And y'all just go, not my problem. My team's winning. Yeehaw! And it's just disgusting. Because this never ends with just us getting hit. It flows downstream. All this shit flows downstream. And the more you cheer it on happening to us, the more shit is gonna pile up on your doorsteps. Even if you were interested, self-interestedly interested in this, you all should see the mountain, the tidal wave of shit you have conjured into being that is going to inundate each and every one of your tiny villages and towns. It's crazy. I've seen it happen in Minnesota. I've seen the ICE agents like going out into the rural areas of the state. The areas full of people just like you who thought it would never wind up affecting them. And boy howdy has it affected them. But y'all, a lot of conservatives are the kinds of people who, they're gonna cheer this on. They're gonna be like, I don't give a shit. And then it's gonna hit them. And because they don't give a shit and don't care to learn anything about it, what winds up happening? They wind up not knowing why all this shit suddenly arrived at their doorstep. Right? Like they just look around and go, gee whiz, there's a lot of shit here. Must have been those immigrants shoveling it over here. It's just like, no, bitch, it was you. You made the shit come to you. How does third world migration benefit the host country? Because labor is a fucking resource, you ding-dongs. God, every single one of you is the stupidest person alive. Somehow. It's like a hive mind of stupidity. I don't know how to make this simpler. The more people you have, the more labor can get done. And the more labor gets done, the more money circulates within communities. The more wealth accumulates. I don't know how to explain this to you guys. And to be honest, I don't know why I'm bothering, because when you ask a question like that, I know that you're a fucking racist. Because you look and you're like, well, maybe they're from Africa or Latin America. Thus, they couldn't possibly benefit a place like America. And that's because you're a racist. It's like saying, oh, wow, I inherited a farm. But, oh no, I only have 2 hands. I can only harvest, a quarter of this field at a time. And then suddenly 3 more people show up. And you're like, I can pay these 3 people, and now my entire field can get picked. Hooray! Because more people gets more work done. I don't know how to make it more simple for you folks. It's crazy. Is that supposed to make me feel bad? No! It's a statement of fact. The fact that you're a racist is just fact. And I know you're not going to feel bad about it, because you came in here being a racist. The fact that you are like, is that supposed to make me feel bad? I don't give a shit about your feelings. God damn. Most self-interested, most, precious little fucking snowflakes. It's crazy. Y'all get out there and you're like, The only way you can conceive of the world in social interactions is that it's all about you and your feelings. It's exactly the kind of mentality that makes you a fucking little racist freak in the first place. The reason I interact with you, by the way, is not because I in any way expect to change your mind. It's because by interacting with you in this way, and in this direct and simplistic and coarse way, I'm hoping that other people hear these arguments and then realize, oh, hey, maybe I shouldn't be a dipshit, and hey, maybe I shouldn't be a racist. It's for the benefit of other people. You're already way too far gone. Anyway, folks, if you got anything out of this, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment, let me know what you think about all of these developments, all of these lies. I know that the lies aren't new. They've been lying the entire time, but it's like truly just brazen at this point. The bubble of unreality is consuming our federal government, and when that happens, you just have an irrational and destructive government controlled by morons. And that's bad when you're talking about an imperial hegemon like America. So, anyway, get organized, folks. Join your local Dems, join your local DSA, kick those corporate bastards out of your local Democrats, and make your DSA more effective, okay? If you need help doing that, join our Discord, reach out to GamerG for help joining your local DSA, reach out to Dragonfly for help joining your local Dems, because, folks, the opposition is getting organized, the fascists are getting organized, you need to get more organized than either of them, all right? We need to continue building off of these DSA wins, and we need to keep on winning. So, become a part of that, folks.
Feeling bad about being a genuinely awful person is normal, and it is concerningly antisocial to ask otherwise.
True. 2D Synctium, thank you for the $5 super chat. And last but not least, folks, check out ImogeneOlivia.com, gender euphoric lingerie designed from the ground up for trans femmes. Also tested with cis men, cis women, non-binary folks. It is comfortable, sexy, non-tucking lingerie. And check it out. ImogeneOlivia.com, link down in the description. Let's keep on going.
Riverboat Jack is coming to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube and swishy streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, Bane, and plenty more. Your sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord.